In the world of vintage shotguns, there's smooth, and then there's high standard. For a generation of shooters and law enforcement officers, this wasn't just another pump action, it set a mechanical benchmark. Often called the glass action, the High Standard Riot earned a reputation as one of the smoothest factory pump shotguns ever made. In many examples, the action is so smooth that if you point the muzzle upward, the bolt will slide fully open under its own weight. That's not from wear. It was designed that way from the start. Many saw it as the professional's alternative to the mass market workhorses of the 1960s and 70s. But what made it special wasn't just the feel. It was the engineering philosophy borrowed from target pistols refined through wartime production and applied to service shotgun in a very deliberate way. The High Standard Manufacturing Company was founded in 1926 by Carl Gustav Swabilius, a former Winchester engineer who believed firearms should be built like precision instruments, not disposable tools. That idea shaped everything the company produced. By the 1930s and 40s, High Standard had become one of America's top makers of .22 target pistols. Their consistency made them popular in competition shooting, including Olympic disciplines. During World War II, the company produced suppressed pistols for the OSS, compact designs like the HDM. These weren't general issue weapons, they were specialized tools for precision, discretion, and reliability under extreme conditions. That same engineering mindset would later influence their shotguns in unexpected ways. By the 1950s, American policing was changing quickly. The pump action had become a standard patrol tool, simple, powerful, and adaptable. High Standard didn't try to compete with volume or price, they focused on quality. The goal behind the Riot configuration was clear: maximize smooth operation, maintain alignment over long service use, and reduce friction during cycling under stress. This wasn't just a hunting shotgun adapted for police work, it was a service-oriented configuration built on precision manufacturing principles. High Standard Riot shotguns were made before cost-cutting took over duty firearms. You can see it in the construction: forged and machined steel receivers, steel internal parts, often hand-fitted in early production models, and walnut stocks and forends finished with oil or lacquer. There was no aluminum receiver, no polymer furniture, no shortcuts. Finishes varied by era and contract. Early commercial guns often had deep, high-polished bluing. Law enforcement models usually had a more matte finish to reduce the glare. And later production in 1970 show simpler finishes reflecting growing cost pressures. Even on service-grade guns, High Standard was known for consistent machining. Collectors often point out how smooth the internal surfaces are compared to other duty weapons of the time. The Riot configuration grew out of the Flite King series, but its design philosophy set it apart from its competitors like Remington 870, where others focused on modularity, High Standard focused on consistency. The Riot's barrel wasn't designed for quick removal, and that limited flexibility, but improved repeatable alignment between the barrel and the receiver. Inside, the system uses a single action bar and a locking block instead of a traditional tilting bolt. While single bar designs can sometimes be more prone to binding, High Standard's tight tolerances and internal geometry helped keep the action running smoothly. The bolt travel feels slightly longer and more guided than many of its contemporaries. This contributes to the glass-like feel, less abrupt movement and continuous motion. When you cycle it, There's a noticeable lack of resistance. It doesn't feel like parts rubbing together. It feels more like one smooth, continuous operation. It's subtle, but once you feel it, you don't forget it. By the 1960s, High Standard had carved out a niche in law enforcement. This was a time when departments were standardizing equipment, and the Riot showed up in agencies that valued fit and finish over lower cost. It was used for patrol cars, building security, perimeter defense, and riot control. Some departments acquired High Standard shotguns through distributor packages that included pistols and training gear, rather than buying them as standalone contracts. That helps explain their uneven but widespread presence across the country. High Standard shotguns did see some use during the Vietnam era, but their role is often overstated. They were primarily used for base security, guard duty, and specialized support roles, not frontline combat. They didn't see the same battlefield presence as, say, the Ithaca 37 or Remington 870. Their identity remained tied to domestic service. One commonly misunderstood point is the term riot. It doesn't refer to a specific model, it describes a configuration: a short barrel, cylinder bore, fixed bead sight, and a duty-focused setup. For example, this Riot shotgun is a Flite King K-1200, but other models exist like the K-100 or K-120. Across all of them, Riot consistently meant short barrel, full-length magazine tube, simple or rifled sights, and law enforcement configuration. That said, when most people say High Standard Riot shotgun, they're usually talking about the K-1200 Riot, especially the 18-inch versions. Because of that, a Riot gun can appear across multiple platforms, including Flite King variants, K-series guns, and even Sears branded versions like the J.C. Higgins Model 20. High Standard pump shotguns were produced from the early 1950s into the early 1980s. The K-1200 is one of the most common later versions. These typically feature rear position safeties, simpler markings, and a more utilitarian finish. Unlike some manufacturers, High Standard didn't leave behind a clear documented serial number system for dating their pump shotguns. As a result, collectors typically estimate production dates using serial number ranges, safety placement, and receiver markings. In film, the Riot has definitely made its mark. One of the most recognizable appearances is in the 1972 movie The Getaway with Steve McQueen, when he acquires a High Standard Riot, exits the store, and shoots up a police car so they can't follow him. And in 2002, the High Standard Riot makes an appearance in Resident Evil, when Mila Jovovich, who plays the character Alice, is ready to take the streets of Raccoon City with her High Standard Riot shotgun. The Riot has made appearances in many other films, including TV shows such as The Dukes of Hazzard, Fallout, and more. Today, the High Standard Riot is respected but still underappreciated. Many were sold under Sears as the J.C. Higgins Model 20. Mechanically, these are often identical to High Standard branded guns and can be found for a bargain. Some collectors note that High Standard often used consistent wood, fit, and finish, even on police contracts, sometimes exceeding other budget law enforcement shotguns of the same era. On the range, the Riot feels different. At roughly 7 pounds, the steel-and-walnut construction helps absorb recoil. The cycling motion is fluid without the abrupt feel found in many modern service shotguns. When you run the action slowly, you notice it most, the way it glides forward with almost no resistance, like the mechanism briefly disappears into itself. The trigger is crisp, reflecting its target pistol heritage. This is not a modular platform, it's a fully realized mechanical system. The High Standard Riot represents a design philosophy that has largely disappeared: precision over cost, feel over modularity, and refinement over simplification. It was never the most widely issued shotgun, but it remains one of the most mechanically distinctive, and sometimes all it takes is one smooth cycle to understand why it earned the name the Glass Action. Thanks for spending some time with me today as we explore the history, details, and design behind the High Standard Riot shotgun. If you enjoyed this, consider liking and subscribing, and I hope you'll join me next time. I'll save you a seat at the mess table.